Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Peplink. Today's host is Jason. He'll be presenting, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to submit them in the question box, and Jason will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Jason, I am finished for now. Please go ahead and take over.
All right, thanks, Julie, and thanks everybody for letting me come in and talk today about our product. Today, we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive on our cloud-based management tool, InControl 2, and show you just how easy central management can be. To start with, let's just kind of walk through quickly how you go ahead and set up an account with IC2. First off, head over to InControl 2.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Go ahead and select that new to InControl sign up at the bottom there. And then we just go ahead and fill in your account details, address, name, etc., and go ahead and get things sent off. You'll know what's sent off because you'll get an activation email with a link to go ahead and verify things. Once we get that step taken care of, then we could start to move on to the account creation with the organization and group creation. Step one is the overall organization level of the account. And now the organization, think of it as kind of the umbrella overall main account that can control subgroups underneath the organization level. And again, we're just asking for some basic information here. Name it, where is it located, etc. Once you have the organization created, then you move on to the groups. And the group is a way for you to segment your deployment logically. If you've got deployments all over the country, for example, or even in different locations within the same town, however you want to divide it up, setting them up as different groups allows you to go ahead and manage each of them individually without affecting other groups under your IC2 account. Once you have the account made, the organization made, and at least one group made, now it's time to add the gear to those groups. We do have a few criteria that it does have to meet. First off, it's just got to be compatible gear, and as you can see from the screenshot, the balances, the maxes, the Surf Sohos, our access points, and the Fusion Hub are what are able to be controlled by IC2. And we do need to keep these things on current firmware. Now, technically, current firmware basically is for the Balance, Max, and Fusion Hubs, and the Soho is 6.1.2, which is actually pretty old at this point, considering we're on 7. And then for the access points, it does need to be at least 3.4.1. Again, pretty far back, considering we're on 3.5.3 now at this point. So in addition to having compatible gear on current firmware, we just need to make sure that the unit is covered by either warranty or an applicable IC2 subscription based on which unit you have, and that they have an unimpeded outbound path to the internet. InControl 2 is a call home product. The product calls out to our server on particular ports. We just need to make sure that those are not blocked to get them to go active. Once you got them set up, you're all done. You have them in the group and away you go. So now that you've got things set up, it's kind of a case of what you do with it. But before we get that far, let's kind of sort out some of the terminology that we use within InControl 2. First off, a user is always a member of at least one organization. And an organization always has to have at least one group. Now, a particular Peplink device can only ever be a member of one group in one organization. You can't have a device registered in multiple accounts. Now, where you can start to get some of that flexibility is with our tagging mechanic. You can associate a tag, and a tag can be anything, location name, timestamp, however you want to identify it, can be associated with any number of devices in a particular group, and a device can have any number of tags to have them participate. Almost, you could call it a virtual subgroup, if you will. Now, as far as how we structure the account, again, a user is always at least a member of one organization, but a user can have any number of organizations that they are associated to. Just that, again, an organization can have multiple admins, multiple users. There are different access levels within InControl 2, each with their own security protocols. A user can be given access to just a single group, limiting them to what they can see, or they can have access to everything if they're even on an admin level, which is what the org admin is all about. We move ahead. So let's start breaking it down piece by piece. First off, the organization level of InControl 2. And we start on the dashboard. And this again will give you a broad overview of the entire account. This allows you to see all of your created groups of Peplink devices, as well as some status information. Online, offline, client information. You'll have these plotted out on GPS positioning on a map. If you've gone ahead and updated that information, or if they are one of our GPS capable units. You do have the ability to start to set up PepVPN SpeedFusion. Basically, you grab a group and then you start to build your account that way, and we'll get into that a little later on, as well as just some of the admin settings on the organization level, whether or not we're adding or removing a particular group, cleaning up the account, adding devices to a particular group, managing organization admin settings, again, kind of deciding who has access to what. There is reporting information that you'll be able to take a look at, who's logged into the account, who did what, etc., as well as keep an eye on your warranty information. And then from the organization dashboard, you can actually drill into the group and device levels to get further information about the gear. So just going across the options that you can get on the org level, first up, PepVPN SpeedFusion. This allows you to go ahead and create the accounts, as well as review your performance of the ones you got up and running. You'll be able to see the deployment plotted in on GPS map view or a logical diagram view if the map kind of gets too busy, if you have a cluster in a small area and it doesn't really plot out properly. And like I said, InControl 2 allows for quick and easy config and deployment of SpeedFusion a variety of ways. You can do a simple point-to-point deployment. We can do that star or hub and spoke deployment, or set up a fully meshed network very, very quickly. To set up SpeedFusion, very easy to do. So first off, we're going to go ahead and then we choose our add profile, choose topology, and like I said, we have our three options: star, fully meshed, point-to-point. Choose the SpeedFusion first, the endpoints that you're going to want it to have. And then in this case, we're doing an option of hub and spoke, and then you choose your center device. And then we kind of get into the same basic settings that you would see within the balance interface. For example, do you want to route all traffic to the hub? The WAN priority settings as far as how you want each WAN to be used in the profile, if you're looking more so for that aggregation, failover, etc. Once you're done setting up everything, hit that finish to complete, and then InControl 2 will automatically push that configuration down to the applicable devices. And you'll see it plotted out here, both in, as I said, the map view and the logical view to keep an eye on your network. Moving on to the organization settings, as I said, this is kind of the admin overall for the account. If you got to add or remove groups as your deployment changes, add devices to the groups as your need changes, organization admin settings, depending on how you want to tweak access to the account, email alerts, configuration, whatever. And then just go ahead and review and manage the overall IC2 logs as well as warranty information. You can do that very quickly and easily on the org level. Next up, group level. This is where we start to get a little more detailed in the information that IC2 presents. First off, again, the overall dashboard. And somewhat similar to the org level, first off, you have the ability to get reporting information from the device, Wi-Fi information if you have it, captive portal information if you've got that set up, as well as device event logs. You also have the ability on the group level to set up PepVPN SpeedFusion, much as we did just a moment ago. The ability to push out VLAN deployments to people within the group, as well as Wi-Fi configuration, both the overall radio settings, if you've got 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, and the SSID levels as well, and setting up captive portal. If you've got a hotel deployment or what have you that needs to have that custom graphic and splash page set up for them. So let's start first with the radio settings. So from the group dashboard, we're going to go to Wi-Fi AP, under the group-wide SSID settings, and then check Wi-Fi management, add the new SSID. You can see the settings is, again, going to be fairly similar to what we have within the GUI, but to be able to push this down en masse or via the tagging mechanic to be able to push it down to only particular units within the group. Name your SSID, decide the security level, whether or not you want this to be broadcast, capping clients, maximum number of clients to ensure that if you have multiple units within your deployment that you are adequately, well, I suppose load balancing on the client level between A and B. Then we go as well to the overall radio settings. Again, from the group dashboard, Wi-Fi AP. This time we're going to the group-wide radio settings. And this is where you can go ahead and set up, if we're broadcasting either at 2.4 gig, 5 gigahertz, lock it down to a channel. If we have to enable output power boost, again, how many clients that we want to associate. And this, again, is pushed down once you hit that save to everybody within the applicable group. PepVPN SpeedFusion, same thing as that we did on the organization level, but just applying to the particular group. Again, fully configurable with point-to-point, star, or fully meshed. And then once you have things set up, you can go ahead and review status both on the map, logical views, or the tabular view as well. Relatively new to InControl 2 is the ability to set up and deploy VLANs to your deployment, which does definitely come into play now with our captive portal deployment, where you can go ahead and set up your VLANs for your network, push it down en masse as well. And of course, with captive portals, the way we operate now is you go ahead and you build your captive portal, associate it to a VLAN, and then go ahead and push that thing out. Our captive portal functionality from InControl 2 is fairly stout. We have a number of metrics that you can adjust and customize it to your deployment. Custom graphics, custom terms and conditions, custom landing page for once you associate to the network. And then some of the newer features that we've added on are our social Wi-Fi capability, which allows you to have your clients log in with a variety of social media profiles, Facebook, Twitter, I believe Instagram, LinkedIn, and there's a couple of others that you can have them in once they log in. It allows you to capture metrics about the user, name, sex, gender, age, etc., where you can then start to tailor with one of our newer functionalities we have in play with the ad server, which is going live, I've heard within towards the end of the quarter, where you can start to target ads to them and start to use that information to make some money. To set up captive portal, again, from the group dashboard, we go to network settings, new captive portal. And this is where you go and start to set things up as necessary. And as I said, you can go ahead and upload custom graphics, custom text, custom terms and conditions, and you have a variety of ways that how you want your customers to access the network. We have social Wi-Fi. We have open access, which is just basically hitting an agree and continue before they go on. Guest account, where you're building a brick of username and passwords that you're passing out. And then token is where you're generating keys, much the same along with the email and SMS that are handed out to the client, if you have this working in conjunction with a ticketing system. You can reset your quotas at a particular time, define when they need to log in, etc. And then once you have the captive portal basic metrics built, this is here under, let me go back a page. The preview and customization section brings up here, and this is where you start to tailor make your page for your deployment. And again, this is where you're putting the graphics, text, terms and conditions, and really making it your own. And you can go ahead and set it up for the initial splash screen, messages for once you authenticate and are signed in, and then once your token or however you are signing out from having the customer sign out from the Wi-Fi as well. Going on to that client information, this is accessible, of course, from the group level as well, giving you the ability to get information both on the IP level, device name, MAC address, up and down bandwidth utilization, and then Wi-Fi information as well if it's applicable to the unit, what SSID they're associated to, what bands being used, signal strength, etc. All of this very quickly tabulated and ready for use from IC2. And then we get into the settings again on the group level. Some of this we've already kind of gone over, device management, where again you're looking at the admin information from the unit. A couple of things I do want to touch on here is it is from device management that allows us to, if you have a device like our Balance One, for example, or any of the devices that do have the built-in Wi-Fi, you can actually toggle the built-in Wi-Fi AP now from the cloud and not needing somebody on site to manage. We do have the ability to enable remote assistance, factory reset the unit, and a relatively new feature that we have on there are Find My Peplink, which is basically a dynamic DNS that you can associate to the device as well when you need to see what the IPs are. Add remove tags. This is also where you can control some overall InControl options if you want to disable GPS reporting or to make sure that nobody can push down InControl 2 configurations. We do have our bulk configurator. So if you have a brick of units that are all going to have the same deployment, basically what you're doing is you're grabbing a master config, load it into IC2, and then designate it to the particular group that you want the others to mimic. You do have the ability to push down firmware updates on the group level. You can schedule when you want them to go if you don't want it to go immediately. We do have an overall device schedule for various function operations, for firewall rules, power up downs, etc. And then, of course, add devices to the group and then the overall admin settings. Moving on to some of the important information, now that you have InControl set up, you got your devices up and running, and you got things humming along, you're going to want to see what kind of information that you can parse out from the equipment. Starting first with cellular reports, for our Max devices, you do have the ability to pull historical cell data out of it, scroll back through the timeline, and you can actually see the flows and ebbs of LTE strength and try to figure out, when you plot it along the routing information on the map, which areas have stronger signal strength than others with the location-based reporting. So at a particular point along the route, if things dip down, you'll be able to see the dead spots along the route, as well as seeing if things are flipping over from 3G to LTE along the route as well. Overall device reports. So even if you're not using the cell information, there's a dearth of information available to you on the bandwidth level, bandwidth usage, client utilization, etc. That you do have the ability to see. It's a bit similar to what you can pull out of the units direct, but again, this is centrally collated in an area to pull this down and be able to drill further on each of those points. Bandwidth reports, you do have the ability to look in real time, as well as start to drill back to historical data on a hourly, daily, or monthly level. You can also define custom ranges if you need to look at a particular range to see what your data usage is at those points. You do have the ability as well to pull up the client list to see if there is, for example, a user pounding the network at a particular time that's not supposed to. See data usage trends. If we need to start, to give you an idea, if you do need to start adjusting your network needs accordingly. And then we get down to the device level. And this is the most detailed part of InControl 2. We're looking at an individual units now. First and foremost, remote web admin. And for troubleshooting or even just getting quickly into a particular unit, I can't speak highly enough about this feature. Basically, what this allows you to do, and not a lot of other devices can do this out on the market, InControl 2 builds an outbound connection, or excuse me, the device builds an outbound connection to InControl 2. So when a user requests remote web admin access, it hits InControl 2, and then we have basically a temporary secure connection between A and B. InControl 2 is the web proxy between the two, and it takes you straight to the GUI of the device, just as if you were hitting it direct. And the very cool thing about this is it even works behind a NATed IP. You don't need a public IP to come in on for it, like you would normally for the coming in from the internet. So again, to break it down a bit deeper, because this is going outbound, we don't have to worry about going through the various NAT devices. This is all going through being facilitated with InControl 2. This is a bit of an outgrowth of one of the tools that we've had for a number of years called Remote Assistance, which gives us some CLI access to the unit. And they've one of the ways we've used it for a long time is to get to the GUI quickly. And they're able to build this now for the customer to use through our InControl 2 platform. To quickly hit a unit, to quickly see configuration, to quickly start troubleshooting device, doesn't get much better. On the device level, there is a number of settings, of course, available here as well. The device tools, the ability to go ahead and enable that remote web admin, which we just talked about. Doing firmware management, pushing down the firmware updates, not just on the group level, but the device level if you're looking to, for example, test a release without having it affect other devices. This is a very easy way to do it. Device tools. This is, again, where you can go ahead and start to reboot the unit, factory reset the unit, enable remote assistance, etc. Wi-Fi management, much as we talked about on the group level, you can start to set this up on the individual level as well. And then PepVPN SpeedFusion takes you back to the group level, where you start to build, again, whether within the same group or bridging between the two groups, the two groups that you're looking to bridge together. Newer features that are just about to come online, actually one just did, is our geofencing capability. With our last update we just pushed out, the slide needs to be updated. Geofencing, very cool. You can do this a couple of different ways. You can actually set this up either as a radius from a particular point and get notifications when you cross that line, or set it up as more of a fencing aspect, and much the same. If you start to range out of these areas, you're going to get notified and be able to react accordingly. And then, as I said, with the Captive Portal, then social Wi-Fi log on using VLAN capability, which is actually now the de facto standard way of doing things with our latest update. It's a much cleaner way to go ahead and get things set up. The ability to go ahead and push these updates down to a particular subnet via the VLAN tag. Oh, it was a lot to get through. And hopefully you're not too terribly confused by all of the tools that InControl 2 can bring to the table. Julie, I am more than happy to answer whatever questions everybody has. Let me have it.
Thank you so much, Jason, for that wonderful presentation. And yes, it looks like we do have some questions for you.
Good.
So let's get started. I'm going to read them off to you. First one,
all right.
Silly question, but can I apply for an InControl account without a product so I can see the features before buying?
Like a demo account, huh? It's something that's been asked about a few times, but to the best of my knowledge, not yet. There is no cost to InControl 2 in and of itself outside of keeping up warranty on a particular unit. So honestly, what I would recommend, I mean, if you know you're getting a Peplink anyway, there's no reason not to at least plug it in and take an initial look at it to see if it fits for your network.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Next question. Can I set up different levels of users for the group access?
Absolutely. And this is something I touched on a few times. Let me see. There are 3 levels of group of user access within a group. There is the overall organization admin, who's or group level admin actually. So I mean they both kind of mirror each other on the org and the group level. The org or group level admin has the keys to the kingdom, either to the overall account, being able to affect changes anywhere, or just in the group if we're talking about the group level. Then next up is the viewer level, where basically they can look but not make change. And then we have the dashboard viewer, again being able to look, but they are just limited to the initial dashboard page of the particular group. And then finally, we actually have we have 2 sections for the Captive Portal specifically. We have a Captive Portal admin and a Captive Portal user. Again, to be able to set up and manage and make changes to the portal, or just to be able to access if you are using, for example, the token or the like, where you have to go and generate username and passwords to pass them out to your network. So absolutely, there are multiple levels within a group, and each group is an island unto itself. So you can set up certain security levels for one group, certain security levels for another group. And this goes back to what I was talking about originally, by being able to segment your network out as you need to, and then gate access to it as necessary. Definitely can do. Great question.
Thank you very much. Next question for you. Is InControl cost associated?
It's a value add, actually. Going back to, let me see if I can go back to that slide here. Is towards the beginning, when we talk about the criteria of what you need to be able to use InControl 2, one thing you do have to do, and I'll probably say it before I get back to the slide. Oh, there we go. Come here. No, we passed it again. But basically, there are 3 things you need in order for it to come live in IC2. Here we are. Perfect. It's got to be, again, compatible gear. It's got to be on current firmware. And the part to answer your question here is that the unit that you're adding to InControl 2 to use the features has either got to be covered under current Peplink warranty, standard warranty that you can get out, extended warranty or total care, doesn't matter, or an applicable InControl 2 subscription. The InControl subscription kind of applies to the little guys, the Balance 20s, the 30s, the Sohos. the BR1s, for example, which is a slightly less expensive cost than a normal warranty. So in and of itself, no. It's a value add when you're purchasing warranty or total care for the gear.
Jason, thank you very much. I'm going to go on to the next question. Can we set up automated reports to be sent to different user levels through InControl?
Automated reports. I wish I knew a little more what they meant by that. I do know you can, for example, for outages, if you have a balance go up or down, a WAN go up or down, or there's about 7 or 8 metrics, you can have automated emails sent out on it's 3 different levels. You can have 3 different alarms sent out for those events, and you could start to say, you know, like level 1, I want the org admin to have it. Level 2, you can widen things out to say everybody who's associated to the group, or however you want to scale it. For the most part, though, if we're talking about like bandwidth reports or the like, it really doesn't. It's a case of where you log in, review the information, and can download it out. I hope I answered your question right.
Yes, you did, and you'll get more information on that on an email. They'll elaborate more on that.
Wonderful.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. I'm going to go on to the next question.
Okay.
It says here, if I have several new locations I'm trying to add, can we pre-configure these features with InControl and then ship them to our offices?
Yeah, it's actually a fairly common way of doing things where, you know, especially you set up the group, you can use our bulk configuration tool to kind of preload a bunch of that information. And then, you know, set your policies for more management, etc. And then once they go live, and, you know, once you have them at the location, online in the internet, and those serial numbers registered, they'll call home, grab the file, update away. Common approach.
Thank you very much. I've got another one here for you.
Sure.
Can we see more information on the ad server?
Not yet. It's something, it hasn't gone live yet. I actually just started playing around with it yesterday, to be honest. But what I can tell you in the broad strokes is just that. It's an add-on that that's going to be tied to your InControl account that you associate particular devices to. And this kind of works in tandem. The ideal, at least the way I understand it, is that it's going to work in tandem with your social Wi-Fi. So with social Wi-Fi, again, you're capturing metrics of your users on the network. You're getting a whole bunch of males, 45, 25 to 44. In such and such an income bracket. You know, it all depends on what they are reporting, you know, what they've logged in or logged with their Facebook or their Twitter or the like. I tested it with mine the other day and it was kind of interesting to see. So once you gather, you know, once you have your metrics, and then you could start to, with the ad server, there are a variety of banner ads that you can then start to populate the page with. Setting up campaigns if you want a particular ad to run from start date to end date. Video ads are even supported as long as the file is small enough. This information is still kind of getting flushed out, but those are kind of the broad strokes. With the social Wi-Fi, you gather the metrics, and with the metrics, you can then start to target ads to the people using your Wi-Fi. And all of it managed by InControl too.
Thank you, Jason, very much. I just wanted to ask you at this point, are you prepared to touch base on that one other subject we talked about earlier? Maybe this would be a good time.
Oh, yeah, maybe this would be a good time. I'm just going to go ahead and bear with me 2 seconds here while I grab that email quickly. What Julie is talking about is Dave Golub poked me last night here, and there was another subject he kind of wanted to touch on, which was a case study that we had on our site. Can you guys see the can you see the page, Julie?
Yes, I
Julie?
can see it, Jason. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
And where it's talking about is with this Amaways Waterways is using one of our pieces of equipment that we call the MediaFast device. And the MediaFast is a product we've had for a little while, but it's gone through a few iterations where when it was originally launched, they were dedicated units. And now what it is starting to do is we're starting to roll the MediaFast functionality into some of our bigger enterprise units. What has happened here that I think Dave wanted us to kind of touch on, and it's a pretty cool application with it, is Amway Waterways was having trouble with bandwidth management specifically. They have a variety of cell connections, a VSAT connection, and then once they're at, you can actually see it a bit down here, a landline, which is available at shore, which I can only assume would be like Marina Wi-Fi that they're piping into it, a brick of LTE connections, as well as a VSAT. And the problem is of course, when you have a bunch of people in 2017 coming onto a boat, everybody's got a smart device, sometimes even multiple smart devices, that when they jump onto the particular network, you're going to start to pull automated updates. Everybody's going to want to jump on Facebook. Everybody wants to take a look at the latest keyboard cat playing video on YouTube, what have you. So they were getting nickel and dime to death on their bandwidth utilization. This is where the MediaFast comes in. What the MediaFast device is our content caching unit. You can see a little bit of it right here, where it's got an SSD built into it. And what it allows you to do is to preload commonly used applications. And it is also an MDM device, a mobile device manager. So what was able to impact things here, and I'm just trying to find the quote quickly, is they were talking about with Facebook specifically. So instead of, here we are, yep, talking about since most passengers are going to kind of the same sites to get news, weather, sports, most everybody has also kind of got fairly similar on the mobile apps. Everybody's kind of got a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram, what have you. And what they're talking about here is like if all 150 passengers have Facebook open, installed on their devices, so when they hit the network and without MediaFast, if there was an app update that got pushed down, it's going to be downloaded 150 times. Everybody hits the network, everybody's getting it pulled down. With MediaFast, and this is what saves them money, is that initial update gets pulled down, stored on the SSD of the MediaFast. So instead of all 150 people going out to the internet to get that update, they're hitting the MediaFast, pulling it from the internal hard drive, and saving a whole heck of a lot of bandwidth. So what happened here with Amways is after a month of deployment, they saved a huge amount of money, and they actually, paid for their deployment, they said, within mere months on this test case, and are in the process of rolling it out to everybody. If you are in a deployment that has a lot of the users kind of hitting the same sites, using the same things, or needing to go to bandwidth poor areas, but still have access to some of the same information, the MediaFast is an awesome device to get on the network to save you bandwidth costs and give you a better end user experience for quicker page loads, etc. It's a great device.
Jason, thank you very much for that overview. I'm sure we greatly appreciated hearing about that.
No problem. Yeah.
And I wanted to, on behalf of Stephen Brown here at Microcom, he's one of our account managers. He wanted to say thank you for this wonderful presentation. As do I. Thank you for answering all those questions, and also thanks to everyone for attending today. And if anyone has any further questions, you can contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if anyone wishes to view any products mentioned here today, you can visit us at www.microcom.us. And please remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and it will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel. So anyone can go there and reference it again, view the whole thing again on YouTube. Thank you, Jason, very much. I appreciate everything that you've done for us today. And
You're very
everyone should
welcome.
have a great and fantastic day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks again for letting me come out and talk to you.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye.